a few examples of a few ongoing experiments that's going on now. It could be eventually, it could be something like injecting something on a tomato, but this is more digital that we're doing now. One of the ideas, this is ideal level of experimentation. It hasn't been even tested anywhere or anything other than I've been talking to developers and some business owners about this kind of idea that so far the developer experience is always the same for every goddamn API, or it at least should be. Same kind of elements in same order and whatever you want to call it. All these assume that developers are learning your API similar way, similar style, and similar order in the elements. But in reality, people learn with different styles and different orders. So what if we could actually build an adaptive developer experience? A system would actually learn how the developer wants to learn the new API. And we would gather a profile, a learning profile about the developer. And when a new API is given to the developer, it would actually possibly show a 2-minute video before it's showing any documentation. Or it could throw out ready-made copy-paste code as first thing. Some people want to jump into the code and then go see something else. But we should know how this developer wants to learn the API and make it as fast and as painlessly as possible. And this is why when it came to adaptive API developer experience, what if we apply the learning analytics as the first step? You want to know how people learn. You get information about that, and the next step is to put the AI behind it, artificial intelligence. Actually, and the third step is actually exporting the profile, developer profile, to another system, so that they don't have to start building the profiles from the scratch, but we can actually take it away. And this could be my data, for example. With the consent, I can give my profile to another system.
Is it some kind of A/B testing, or what is the method of learning in this type?
We haven't thought about it yet too much. It's more about I was in the beginning, I was thinking like we get information, we could use the X API, which is used in the learning analytics systems now, and it's developer doing the blah blah blah, this and that, and that's one line. And we get these lines more and more, and then there's a feedback loop at some point that they're asked, is this useful or not? Does this help you or not? And then we get the information what they want to see actually, and possibly in what order. That would be the first step. And I have a suspect that this came to my mind because I came from the education sector. And we were starting there, the learning analytics stuff in the Finnish governmental level. So that's probably where it came to my mind as well. And I tested out this idea with a few academic people in the learning analytics and or in the education sector themselves. And so far they have all said that it makes sense. And the next step is actually do some kind of proof of concept and try it out, and then ask the developers, does this actually help you to actually learn faster the new APIs or not? And then we could go forward.
Is this a very generic problem that could be accompanied?
Well, yeah, obviously, but I haven't seen that yet in anywhere that someone would have applied learning analytics, for example, to learning APIs, or part of the, or even mention something like this as part of developer experience itself. So in a way, I see some kind of newness value in this anyway. I don't know, there might be something going on, but I haven't seen in the big conferences that I've visited anyone would have mentioned anything like this. But it's not. There's no big invention. We just have to test it out and see if there's any value actually. So before making big decisions about making a product out of it or something else. And there probably could be some kind of tutoring where, for example, the developer is somehow stuck with something. We should get an indication that, hey, normally this developer goes this and that fast, But now, for some reason, he stopped there. Then we could have a, let's say, chatbot or something that actually could ask them, do you actually need help? And we would help to cross the hard parts with either with the machine help or by manual people actually support people would actually engage with the developer at that point. And not to lose that developer, because if they get stuck with something and they can't get forward, they will ditch your API and they'll choose another one. And the aim is to actually help the API owners to be sure that their APIs are the most easy ones to learn and take into use. But that's the idea. I don't know, does it actually make sense, and if it's going to happen anytime, but let's see.
How is this like compete with Swagger or some kind of standardized basic documenting APIs that are actually good learning resources?
That's a good point. Swagger as one example of documentation and even design document and design-based document for APIs is a good starting point. And this is where the companies normally stop. We have a Swagger and it renders nice documentation, and you can even try it out at some point, and we're happy. This is only half of the story, because developers want to see third-party evaluation or war stories about the API. Can I even trust this API? There's more in the developer experience than just the documentation where you can input and try it out. That's a good start. That's an excellent start. But it's not there yet, and it doesn't give you any kind of longevity feedback about the developers themselves. Again, yeah, good point. And there's, by the way, now that Swagger was mentioned, there's RAML and there's API Blueprint. So there's a lot of options, at least 3 options at the moment, serious options. But the Swagger is probably the most widely used at the moment. And the toolage for Swagger is excellent. All right, the next one, API chatbot. This was sort of a bit mentioned there, but this is an idea that actually we as a company want to push forward as well. And we want to build a proof of concept of API chatbot. And what it actually is the first idea that actually came from a API heavy user developer was that I'm working in a Slack environment and I want to learn how to use an API. And the API chatbot should actually help the developer to learn it in the Slack environment. So it would actually discuss API with the API management and API catalog to actually help the developer to find the API. And then it would help to actually show the developer how do you actually use it. But it would happen in the Slack environment instead of jumping to another website or somewhere else to learn it actually how you do it. But it would help you in the team environment itself. It's not easy. There's a lot of challenges, but that's another one thing that we actually want to try. And we have some kind of funding to actually get it started at some level, probably not even for the proof of concept level, but to get us a bit further to make the next step. So we can use about 2,000 euros at this point for this. And if you're interested about this to actually make some kind of contribution to push us a little further, even a few meters ahead, then come to me and let's make an arrangement with you.
Have you talked about these chatbots, for example, looking at the AI bots who are doing chatbots?
No, I haven't had the chance yet to actually reach out. I'm using these opportunities to actually give out the ideas that we have now and seek out new possible partners to actually make it a real one.
Yes, I think they have the best tech in compared to the chatbots and the whole NLP processing problem. The whole task of teaching an API is a really complex one, and they are only solving customer service queries which can be parameterized and then handled. How do you? This is a really complex problem for 2,000 euros.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yes, as I said, we're not going to solve it with 2,000, but it's something that actually we can get some kind of contribution that we can go forward.
Yeah. If somebody solves this, it's going to be a million dollar business anyway for the whole whole analytics side of analyzing chat logs and doing that.
Yeah, I know. It's a big thing.
There is already application that help you with that, like where you actually have AI already and natural language processing already can teach your API, your chatbot based on the chatbot. There is that part of it.
It's definitely kind of exercise. What do you call it actually? We can always reduce the whole chat query to certain parameters. And not like true NLP systems that can.
What's the combination of those? But yeah, I mean, I think it's possible to do something with this ID, like even if it's just a small thing, like there's a REST API that you can use to create an API and just call it for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem in this country is that everyone wants to make a $3 million project, and you never get the 3 millions, and you never get the project done. So my idea is to make a small step forward, at least go somewhere instead of just writing papers to Tekes or something else. I know, yeah, 2,000 isn't much. It's not even a month's salary for anyone, but. Yeah, exactly. We have something to show.
And also, yes, anyone who is taking the course already knows that the topic of the exercise work is you can select that freely, and the bot 3 points for the bot development is out there. So that I would even call that more major than the 2,000 euros, but you can do the combo. So for that, you don't even, if you have that the notion of a bot saying something to a person on some queue, that's enough for the exercise work. That's more than enough, and maybe you can then teach the article for some summer funds to top it up.
Yeah, definitely. If it makes sense, then we as a company decide to put more resources to it. Then it will be in the prioritization pipeline. But we have to start from somewhere, and let's see. This feedback is valuable because, yeah, not everyone understands the complexity of the topic that we're discussing here. But let's build something that we have a lot of smoke and a lot of mirrors and everything. But let's try it out at some level, and let's see where it actually goes. That's one idea. The third one is an ongoing project inside our company at the moment, open source and everything else, and in the GitHub as well. But we're porting or moving our API management to the Raspberry Pi at the moment. It's a process. It's gonna take a few more months to actually get all the components that we want to have there. But it's something that we actually started because I wanted to build something about do-it-yourself home automation, and I was thinking, well, could I have some kind of value for having an API management there? And yeah, we're testing out, does it actually make sense to run it on Raspberry Pi or not? But anyway, it can be run there. We know that much already, but is it a powerful platform enough to actually have some kind of value? And what's the actual value? We'll see. But at this point, you can run the platform layer of the API management on Raspberry Pi by installing from the Docker. It requires a few commands if you don't have the Docker environment and everything in the Raspberry Pi, which isn't there by default, so you have to install it there. But it's still a few minutes task to actually get it up and running, the platform management layer, without the actual proxies below it. And that's the next step. We're going to put the EMQTT broker into the Raspberry Pi and then make it a configuration from the platform layer, so that actually you can have a, if not full IoT capability, but you have at least EMQTT broker which you can use with the devices, and you can control those streams of information with the APIOps platform itself. And the work actually is at the moment going on for the AMQTT broker, so it shouldn't take too long to actually be part of the release, which can be found from the APIOps/APIN blah. Anyway, from the GitHub, and you can run it yourself. And since I'm not a technical expert, and I was able to actually install the platform layer in Raspberry Pi without any kind of reruns, it went there by one effort. So the other technical people used to be more skillful and everything else. So it's easy to install there now. And let's see where it actually goes. And we have a little discussions with the Tampere ICT company Futurize about trying out this environment in their office IoT environment. So let's see if that makes sense. So we're expanding in this area as well. But the focus of this effort is for the do-it-yourself home automation people to actually have some kind of API management in their system. Those are the 3 experimentations at the moment. And if you have an excellent idea, you're free to express it, for example, in blog. And if you need some resources, come to me and let's see if you can find a way. And but anyway, this is the opportunity for you to actually push your ideas to the community and get visibility and possibly even get a job by doing something in this community. Speaking of jobs, we have an opening at the moment. So if you're free and you fulfill all the requirements, you can start on Monday. We need a full stack JavaScript developer fast, and we will eventually need more, but at this moment we're ready to take immediately 1, and probably in the summertime we'll take 2 or 3 more. But anyway, you should have some